Notice how in social situations, in situations where you have to speak, when you're talking, you can't really focus on what other people are saying. You can't really absorb information. That's the whole point. You need to stop speaking so much. You need to listen more. Because those who listen are those who get the information. Those who listen are those who are able to observe. You need to be more of an observer. I've made this mistake before. I still make this mistake. I talk way too much. And I really come out of situations. I really find myself not knowing as much as I should, not absorbing as much as I should, not knowing as much as I should about the other person, not remembering things, not building relationships as much because I talk too much. And just talking a lot in general is not gonna help you. You think you're just sharing more about yourself. You think you're sharing more information. You think you're communicating. But a lot more of communication is listening. You would think that talking is the main part of communication, but I'd say the main part of communication is listening because you're hearing what the other person is saying. You're absorbing what they're saying. You're gathering information. It's not really about like it's not about like knowing the most you possibly can about the other person, but it's just about knowing things. It's about knowing how to listen. It's about making eye contact. It's about doing all these things that people are losing because they think that they just have to talk. They just have to say the most about themselves to the other person. They have to make sure the other person knows everything about them. They have to prove themselves to other people. You're not proving yourself to anybody. What you're doing when you talk is you're making the other person feel like they're not valuable, that you just care about yourself. So listen for a change. It might take some time. It might take some silent conversations. It might take some silent social interactions, but eventually the other person will open up and you'll be known as the person who's a good listener. Notice how the people who have the most friends are the ones who listen, the ones who are good at listening. They're not the ones who are good at talking. Because when you're in a social situation, notice how the one who talks all the time is kind of the annoying one. The person who talks so much, the person who's just nonstop talking. They never listen. They never ask other people questions. They're the ones who are the annoying ones. They're the ones who end up annoying people because they never stop talking about themselves. And when you stay silent sometimes, when you stop talking about yourself, people actually wonder about you because there's some mystery about you. They don't know everything right away. They don't never know everything about you the second they know you because you're not just telling them, you're not talking their ear off the second they meet you. You want to leave a little bit to mystery. You want to leave a little bit of them to you want other people to wonder a little bit about you instead of them just knowing everything. You want a little bit to be up to mystery. And when you listen, you are the one who knows everything because you're absorbing information from other people. You're the one who knows everything. The most wise people, the smartest people are those who are able to listen, those who are able to learn from others. Because when you talk, all you're doing is releasing stuff. You're only releasing information. You're releasing stuff about yourself. You're not actually absorbing anything. You're not actually taking any information in, any words in. You're not taking anything in. The person who listens is constantly taking stuff in. They're constantly learning new things about people. They're constantly learning new things in general because they know how to listen. They know how to listen. They know how to absorb information. The person who talks never really gets the opportunity to absorb information because they're constantly thinking about what they're going to say next. And when you're in a conversation, a lot of people just focus on what they're going to say next. Just let it flow. You're going to figure it out eventually. You're going to figure out how to talk on the fly instead of thinking about the next thing you're going to say. When you focus on thinking about the next thing you're going to say, you never really hear what the other person is saying and the conversation never flows. Focus on listening. Don't focus on thinking about the next thing you're going to say because that makes it constantly about yourself instead of listening to the other person. Notice how when you think about what you're going to say next, you don't truly absorb what the other person says, and that's a problem. That's a problem. They don't feel heard. They don't feel like you're actually listening. What you're really doing is just thinking about yourself. You have to hear the other person. So focus on listening more. Talk less and see how your life changes. See how you become more of a attentive person. See how people are drawn to you more. See how you become more aware because you stopped talking so much, because you became more of a listener. Just listen more and talk less. Try that out. Try that out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.